saying, like, what do you think? What mindset did you have to give yourself, or what mode did you have to put yourself in to get to where you are? Like, what I know for myself, sometimes I can really get discouraged. Sometimes things can get really. You can go get under pressure, get overwhelmed. Like a lot could be happening at once. Like you go from not having shows to a bunch of stuff at once, and people are expecting a lot from you. I'm just wondering, what has really, what mode did you have to put yourself in to get to where you are right now? Like, what mindset did you have to tell yourself? I know that you are really big on like you have to change, like you have to make strides for yourself. So, what are some things that you had to do?
So definitely maintaining a great level of optimism. Because I definitely believe everything happens for a reason. Everything happens like at the perfect time, even if it doesn't seem like it's the perfect time or it's not coming fast enough or slow enough or whatever. Just like going with the flow. Definitely having like a hustle mentality. Like I'm always thinking about like where I want to be and like how I'm gonna get there. Like what steps can I make today, like right now? And I have learned the importance too of rest. So I've been trying to implement that more. But just like not being complacent with your dreams because time's not gonna stop for anybody.
Right.
So you don't know how much time you got for real. So
Right.
That's a fact.
Right. Have you all surprised yourselves to where you are right now? How does it feel?
It is surreal. Like, I think last night kind of it really showed me.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I impressed myself, and it showed me like, okay, yeah, like you know what I'm saying?
You
like
can do it, yeah.
You can do it. Yeah, I think I definitely surprised myself as far as like the cohesion of everybody else coming together, because you kind of don't know how that's gonna work. Like you can just do your part, and then you got to put your trust in other people too. Like I feel like Ron and Judah and Law, they did a great job of like creating a camaraderie and teamwork and communicating and stuff like that. So with me, I think I was more impressed by like how it all came together, because it's like a lot of moving parts, and it was successful. So
to go off that, to go back to who inspired you, I know you both are fans of Basquiat and things that he's done. Taz, I know you just saw some of his work in person, and you've done some art featuring him. What are some other artists along with him that have inspired you and have helped you along the way to kind of put you in the direction of what type of art you would like to do?
Well, I feel like I'm more heavily inspired by like surrealists and like impressionists, or expressionist type paintings or artists. So Salvador Dali, Frida Kahlo, I love them. There's an artist named Carol Walker. Yeah, she's really dope, and I love too how like it's her work. Like whenever I was in LA, like I walked into this exhibition and I was like, "This is Kara," and I was like, "Yeah, this is." Like, so that let me see. I'll say they're probably like some of my top artists, like of like old times. Yeah.
Dillan, I know your grandmother. She has an Annie Lee collection that she had. That really has inspired you when you were growing up. Who are some artists that have inspired you and have got you in the place that you are?
Yeah, like Annie Lee for sure. I think that was the first artist I subconsciously taken in. Like as a kid, there was days you come home from school and take a nap. I would take a nap on make a pallet, and she had like a glass cabinet of just like Annie Lee statues and stuff like that. So I think that's one of the first artists subconsciously, and then consciously, I would say Basquiat. Once I did like research and like, watching documentaries, that was my first time seeing a Black artist like go from nothing to something. And then visually, that artist that inspired me, it's a long list. But to start, I would say like Diego Rivera, Kehinde Wiley, it's a lot, Banksy, Alec Monopoly, like a lot of like the big heads, and then there's a lot of underground artists that are just as dope. So you gotta like kind of give them their flowers too. So I would say from my city, there's a artist named Sheafy McFly. There's another artist named Tony, Phil Simpson. There's like street artists, like graffiti artists, like Richie Blanco, Southwest Freddie. There's a lot of people. Like it's a long list of people that inspired me. So those are like I'll give you those.
Okay.
I keep
So
going.
let's get a little personal. So what are some personal experiences that you can say have really influenced your art? Like maybe a time or an event that's happened that has really even changed you as a person or changed where you've come from. I know doing research from you all, like Taz, you started doing pointillism with a deer, and now you have masculinity and femininity back there, like up at an art show, and then you have Dylan Reflection, and I've seen you do things with like the Detroit Pistons and things like that. Like you've really changed over time. So what has really what personally has changed you as an artist and as a person that you can say has really helped you today? I mean, everyone's different. Everyone goes through things that can make them the person they are. So what has made the art that you have what it is?
For me, I would say it's my family dynamic. So I'm the oldest of 8 total. I grew up with just my mom, and it was really hard for us. But like we always made the best out of what we had. And then I just knew what I wanted out of life and what I didn't want out of life based on the things that I saw and like went through as a child. Yeah, I would say like just experiences like that.
No, I saw you and your sister yesterday. It seemed like y'all were really close.
Yeah,
she was really happy to be here. She drove
Yes.
far. Where did she drive from?
From Biloxi. She actually lives in Mississippi right now. It's like
Okay.
6 and a half.
The coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all both had a lot of support yesterday. How was it for you?
Really, the type of family I come from a 2-parent household, and I'm a younger sibling. So I think I always was an achiever, and this was a different challenge to achieve. Like the root of my painting and drawing came from like an injury. So that's like me. That's my personal experience on how I got into it. Just like going through pain, physical pain. And then, it became a coping mechanism, like with mental health and stuff like that. Just different ways, like to be positive and make impact on people, have dialogue. Like it's a lot of things I could say how, like, I got here, but I think yesterday that was, last night at least, that was, it was rewarding, like seeing like people that you love, you haven't seen them in a couple months, or you don't expect them to come because it's so far, and they actually make the travel. So that was rewarding, and it felt good to see people I haven't seen in a long time. They enjoy the show and stuff like that.
Right. Okay, so let's get into the show. Yesterday, 2 pieces stuck out to me. Taz, for you, the masculinity and femininity piece. I want you to talk about that and expand on that and tell me how you came up with this idea. And let's just break that down. And then Dylan, you have the Dylan Reflection piece. Can you all just let me know how you got to these pieces and really how does it reflect as for you as a person? Either one of you could start.
So speaking about the Dylan Reflection piece, so that's a self-portrait. It's not my first time exercising that, like portraying myself in art. So with the whole concept of symmetry, like there's a word in the definition, reflection. I think every morning I look at myself when I brush my teeth, when I wash my face or whatever, I kind of look myself in the eyes, and it's like I tell myself what I got going on, like sometimes without even saying words. And I think one thing, a feature about me is that people get intimidated by how like my face structure is. Like they think I'm mean, or like because I kind of give a serious tone, and then like when you smile, you talk to them, then it kind of like lighten the situation. Yeah. Especially coming from Detroit, it's really uptight up there. Like people, they always got their mean mug on. But getting into the piece though, this is a photo that my friend Tin took. This is like something we did in Atlanta, and I just wanted to like show myself to the people, like in a way that it tied into the show. And I wrote with my left hand, look those in the eyes that dare to stare back. So that goes back to like me having like a intimidating tone or a fierce look. So like sometimes when I look at people, I can tell that they like uncomfortable or scared. So like I continue to look in their eyes, but like it's up to them to keep looking back, like or ask a question or whatever's on their mind. So
When you say
That's
you wrote
just,
it with your left hand, what was that significance?
man, I just wanted to give like two significances to it. Like I wanted to give a balance of right and left.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like, of course, I painted the stuff with my dominant hand, and then my left hand was like my least dominant. So I wanted to like incorporate that in all my work too. And then also it gives like a childlike look. Like I think Basquiat was really good at just exercising his inner child, and that's something I wanted to do. Like just make it look like really like immature.
No, I think that goes hand in hand. He was an artist who did his art with no shoes on.
Yeah, it's very
So
unorthodox. It's like I'm into like unorthodox ways of getting stuff done. Like, because it's like 1,000 ways to skin a cat. So,
right.
That's pretty much.
And Taz, so we have masculinity and femininity back there. I know when Emmanuel was setting up the exhibit, you didn't tell him which went with what, and he got it right. But I feel like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and that goes hand in hand with art. So, how did you come up with this concept, and then how did you decide what was masculine and what was feminine, and then how did you decide what colors? Just how did you get there? What was your thought process behind that?
So for my masculinity and femininity pieces, what made me like want to create something that represented those two energies, was just thinking about the topic of symmetry. Like, what can I simplify that down to at its like simplest form, to make it relevant, to make it presentable, and summarize what we were going for, with this group exhibition. And yeah, I felt like going like abstract was number one, like gonna be the best way for me to convey my emotions, and my feelings towards the subject.
Right.
Because I like to create art that makes people feel. I like it to evoke emotions. It's like I like to feel, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like I like to exercise my emotions, my intuition, all of those things. So masculinity and femininity. When I think about those, I think about just like the esoteric breakdown of like the line and the circle, and that being like the phallus and the womb, that being like the serpent and the egg, all like for creation. I think about the colors, red and blue. So with red, I think about like just like fire and like passion, like really like native energy. And blue, I think about like the cooling like waters, like the moon type energy. And yeah, I wanted to show how they're both in both, if that makes sense. Like in masculinity, there's femininity. In femininity, there's masculinity. How they tie into each other, how they need each other, and how they make each other whole. Yeah, I wanted to, like I said, use the primary colors because I wanted to get like down to like the root of the essence. But then there's also black and white incorporated. I felt like the black frames, as well as like the black accents in the pieces, tied in like that dark cosmic energy, like the triple black darkness. And then the white, like, just being like the light, like how they say in like philosophy, the darkness came first. That was like the mother energy. Like even in the Bible, I'm not like a religious person. It was dark first, and then the energy said, "Let there be light."
Right.
And then that's like the mother having the son. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's how I came to the conclusion of how I was going to depict masculine and feminine energy in my pieces. Yeah.
Okay. And so, Dillan, a while ago, you posted something about Pablo Picasso's napkin. It's about. So the story is a woman came up to Pablo Picasso and was like, "You're Picasso," and she was like, "Can you?" And he started dribbling something on a napkin, and then he charged her for it.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You're not gonna give it to me for free?" It was just a simple painting, and he was like, "Yes, but you're not talking about the 40 years I put towards this." So, what do you think? Do you feel that your hard work has been brought across? Of course, to me, I see it, but how do you feel about yourself as hardworking? Like, have you had to push yourself past boundaries? Has it been hard to get here? What has been your challenges, and have you had to deal with people who just don't understand the vision and had to really show them like, this is what's up, like I'm doing what I need to do, and you're gonna see it or you're not, but you're gonna see me. So it's like, what has got you there? What boundaries have you had to push? What are those challenges? What can you say again has made you the artist you are today?
For me, I'm a very soft spoken person majority of the time. And just like my tone of voice in general, I get it from my mom. She has like a very high voice. But yeah, I feel like people can come to the misconception of like who you are and like who you're going to be based on like just first appearances. That's why I go by Taz instead of Talia. I wanted to choose a gender neutral androgynous name to not be judged just off of paper, just to begin with. So definitely topics like that. And then just people counting you out based on whatever misconceptions they have or whatever doubts they have about themselves, projecting it onto you, and just maintaining through, like knowing that that's a projection and that's not really you.
Right. Okay. Dylan?
It's kind of, I'm piggybacking off what she said early in the conversation. Like rebirths, going through rebirths. I think that was something that keeps motivating me. And being in that age bracket of the technology and stuff, like knowing that people are watching you, whether you know it or not, and stuff like that. I think maintaining consistency and I'm already a hardworking person, so transferring that mentality and ethics to the art world was like, it was easy for me, but like you said, you kind of like got to keep popping up, you got to keep doing it. So I think something that really motivated me was being different, like being this in a family where I ain't gonna say it's not accepted, but it's just not the norm to do. So that's something that kept pushing me to keep being artistic and different. And I'm also like, I feel like I'm pioneering a movement of bringing like a lot of talent together, like egoless movements where you can just be yourself and create and collaborate or just ask questions of somebody in a different medium or something like that. So that's another thing that kind of motivated me to push me to keep doing it. And then just knowing that like the attention span of the world is just like messed up. So I think it's important as artists because we see the world different. It's like we're like a certain percentage of the world. Like we see it different. We have visions, we have things that we internalize. So being able to do that, that's like a gift. So you gotta like, you don't want to slap God in the face. You gotta like use it. Like you gotta, So that's what I do. Like I think on a daily basis, I just try to make impact, whether it's small or large. I used to be the artist that like post the whole process and post everything so you can see the beginning and end. But like now it's more so like people know what I'm doing. Like you get a FaceTime call, they're like, "Oh, you busy?"
Right.
Like so it's like I just think maintaining consistency and being yourself within it, being pure. Those are the things that kind of,
Got you where you were. Yeah, that's beautiful. I feel like people don't realize that everything you experience has something to do with who you are today. And I can most definitely see that in y'all's art, especially just over time, even before this was all set up. Like people don't even know where we started in this room. We were having conversations and they were brought to life. So how do you see your art evolving over time? Like I know you weren't where you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So how do you see the evolution of your art expanding? I know if even from a year from now, I know that you'll probably be in a different place or probably trying new things. So how do you see that evolving? What can you see yourself doing with your art from here?
I'll go first. For me, I think I'm gonna continue to do canvas work for sure. I want to get more into meshing. I mean, the two cultures already coexist, like music and stuff. I want to mesh like DJing and like curation and stuff like that. That's like how my future's looking. Murals, getting into tattoos, stuff like that. Like just keep evolving and going. Like I kind of look at being an artist like, and I don't like serpents at all. Anything low to the ground, but I know like snakes, they shed skin. So like as an artist, I feel like you gotta keep like rebirthing yourself or growing or keep shedding skin so you can be another type of artist. So the future for me is more so like, like I said, canvas work, 3D objects, like household objects, and curation and stuff like that. More behind the scenes work and putting things together.
So, can you? I know you've done a piece with Tony Montana and a cartoon character. So,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you tell me
With
about
Taz.
that? Yeah, with Taz.
Okay. That's another pivotal thing. So that was a collaboration I did with an artist I met at Art Basel, and he invited me to his home. He has a beautiful home. He was living in Hawaii at the time, and I'm from Detroit. I'm like, I ain't gonna never go to Hawaii. Like, so it just happened. Like, we put it together. It was an art event that weekend. It's called Powwow. So while I was out there, we collaborated. We did like 6 pieces together. They all sold. He's like an international selling artist. His name is Sean Flores. Really dope. But the Taz and Tony piece, it was a Baby Smooth song that I was listening to at the time. That's a Detroit artist. And at the end of it, it's like it's a clip from the movie, and everyone kind of knows it, and it was inspiring. So I just he's really good at cartoon characters and stuff and graffiti background. So and I'm good at like realism. So I was like, "All right, you do Taz and I do Tony," and that's the name of the piece. And just one of those scenes where he just got shot. He know it was a setup, and then he go, what I'm saying, handle his business. So I just incorporated that into a canvas.
Okay. Yeah. And Taz, how have you seen yourself evolve over the years? I know, like I said, you've moved, you've done different types of mediums. You do tattoos, art. Like you've been in different locations, like Peter Street. Like what has helped you evolve? What has got you where you are, and where do you see yourself going?
So, how I got into tattoos is I had to find a way to get my paintings out there. So I was like, if I can master this tool, I can switch it to this tool, but I can do this. I can switch it to that. I can do that. It's just about getting your foot in the door. I have a lot of different styles. I have a lot of different interests, and I feel like I reflect that in like my outward appearance, like my personal style. Also, like my delivery, my taste in music is very diverse. So I just want to keep showing the world what I have like inside, you know. So I definitely want to get into more abstract portraiture, more large scale abstract pieces. I want to start doing murals this summer too. I've worked on a couple of them, but like I want to like have like my name on it. So besides that, I want to start doing international work. I've already been networking with a couple artists that I really admire in like Scotland, Germany, Austria. So I want to start going to places like that. Just tattooing, doing seminars. I did my first tattoo seminar yesterday at SCAD, Savannah School of Art and Design at the Atlanta campus. Nice. So I want to get into teaching, mentoring. I plan to open my own studio soon. So I would like to take on some actual apprentices. And then just share. Like, I feel like we have all these gifts. Like you said, like it's a slap in the face to God to not use them all. Right. So that's what I want to do.
Okay. And like, so based off what you've done, I know you both aren't in your hometowns, but how can you say your art has affected your community and your society? Like, I know you said that you look up to some artists, and I know some girls are looking up to you one day, or even some guys that are looking up to you. And Dillan, I know there are people that are looking up to you. So how have you seen your art transform through the community and society? I know even Dillan, you've done some work through like Black Love in the Trenches. Like that was a videography. I feel like that was art through video. Like that was beautiful. Even like showing, like she's doing your hair, and y'all are just in a real chill environment. How has that impacted your community? How has it been to show different forms of art and show who you are through what you love to do? Not like you said you aren't following the norm of your family and your society. So what has that done for you? What has that done for your community?
That project alone that she's speaking of is that was a collaboration with a videographer. He's really famous actually in Detroit and like really big on YouTube. His name's Valance. So we did that. That was like my second time being on camera with him, and it went viral. It went crazy on Twitter. Like I didn't even have a Twitter, and it kept going viral. People sending it to me. I'm like, cool. But what that alone has done for me in my community, it puts identity with the art. Like now people know what I look like versus like them seeing my hand all day. Like because I wasn't really like I'm not really a selfie type person. That's what photographers are for. So it's like he's a really, really good photographer and videographer. So that like it gave me a stamp in my city, which is hard to get in my city because it's like we're really, really critical when it comes to everything. So that work alone gave me an imprint. And then also it kind of showed who I really am. Like some of those scenes and things that we were doing, like that's like normal. You know, to some people, it's like, oh, why he got a gun? Oh, why they smoking all the time? Like it's just like that's what we do. Like, you know, we protect ourselves and we get high. Like that's what we do. Like, you know, and if you with your girl, you know, your girl take your hair down, she might braid it back up. It's just things that happen. So yeah, that was like some really, really good work. And it also gave me like another tool on the belt. Like, okay, you can model. I mean, like, I if I can, I'll show you a clip. He asked me the first day I met him, he's like, you model, bro? I'm like, nah. Like, you should. I'm like, all right. Like, you know, so I'm like, let's just do this real quick and I'm gonna go back my way. But you know, it gave me another tool, like just to be able to like consider myself as a model and be on camera and perform in a different medium. You know?
Okay. And Talia, like, how has it been for you? How has it shaped your community? How has it been for you? I know people in your community have asked you to come out and have interviewed and things like that, have really given you exposure. So how has it been for you, like making a difference in your community and really becoming that person you want to be?
It's very humbling. I'm very grateful. I feel like when I first kind of realized I was making an impact, it was when I was tattooing in my apartment. And I had a client come in. It was her and her husband. She's a white woman. He's a black man. And I get a lot of families like who will come. Like I'll get one person and then they bring like their partner, their kids, or if it's a young person, they'll bring their parents and grandparents and stuff like that. But she was telling me how she showed her daughter me, like my page and like what I look like and stuff. And she was like, Mommy, she's brown like me. And like she told me that, and I was just like, my heart just like melted because like I would never think about something like that. It's not like on my radar, you know what I mean? But you never know how what you're really doing is impacting others, you know? So that just gave me like a wake up call, like people are really looking at me, you know? So I definitely want to lead like with my best foot forward, and I want to be inspiring to them to be themselves.
Right.
That's another thing I want to add too. I forgot that part of the question. As far as the impact in the community, like it's not that in my section of Detroit, Southwest Detroit, there's it's like a couple artists. Like I said, there's graffiti artists, so they're not really like putting their face out there. Right. So that was another thing, like me being like a leader and inspiring people, like even people that's not artistic or creative. Like when they see me doing my thing, it kind of inspired them to either A, be positive or to do something different. So that's kind of like one of the things that definitely affects my community. Like when every time I go somewhere out there, it's like, hey bro, can you like they think it's easy. Like going back to the napkin store, they're like, hey bro, can you just whip my album cover real quick, bro? I'm like, yeah, I got you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but they just don't understand like what the process is and all that stuff. So being a leader and being somebody that can inspire other people is like another way I impact my part of Detroit.
Okay. And like as people, what do you think? What are some things that you want people to know about you that they probably wouldn't get off like first appearance or just like meeting you? What are some things that you feel like people aren't getting that you just want them to know? I know like I've touched on a little bit like Taz, you're big on philosophy and feeling like your hometown is really ingrained in you, and it's something is most definitely something that is a part of you. So what are some things that you want people to know about you that you want to get out there and just let them know, like, this is me, I need you to know this. You might not know it off first base, but you're going to know now, like, this is who I am. So what are some things that people just don't know that you want them to know?
I feel like just me in general. Like, they don't know me, and I want them to. They're going to.
Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah, period.
Yeah. I think for me, things that I want people to know that they not gonna know. I'm a very, very patient person. I feel like in my life, we done went through a lot of things, family-wise and personally. And I'm always patient in every situation. Like, even if it's something that's like in my control, I even still find a way to exercise patience. And I also want another word that comes to mind. It's like me being poised. Like I never really get too high or I never get too low. I kind of just be like on cruise control. And I think, the family that I come from, the niche and the idea of what I come from, I think on the outside looking in, they expect certain things from me individual, like from me as an individual. And then what I give is like something totally different than what they expect. Like when you look at somebody through the gram or YouTube, you're like, oh, that's how he is. And then when you meet him, it's like, oh, that's how he really is. Like, so I think those things are something that you can't really see through the screen. It's like being poised, being patient, and relatable and understanding, like just different words like that.
Okay. And so I know you both have things coming up. What are some things that our guests can look forward to, or even some things that you have, some goals that you have for yourself that you look forward to in 2023? I feel like everybody's on a mission this year. I feel like we don't have time for no games anymore. Like COVID took us out. We're up now. Like there's no sending us back. So what are some things you look forward to this year or even years to come that you want going on? I know, Talia, you said you're manifesting some murals coming out. I know, Dillan, you want some more art shows like this. So what are some things that we could say or any dates that we can look forward to see you all?
I don't have any locked in dates or shows in the future. I've been in conversation with some more group exhibitions.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to do something back in Detroit. I haven't really did that much work there. All of my big shows been out of town.
Okay.
So I want to do something at home that most definitely before the year's over. Like I said, get into like DJing, curating music, like bringing music to the table, because I feel like I have a natural ear for that as well. So being able to bring, like create collectives or bring other type of artists together to get certain things done for certain people. That's like my future.
So I have my first solo art exhibition coming up April 14th. Everybody in the audience, April 14th at Peter Street Station. It's going to be really lit. It's going to be 7 p.m. until, like literally until. So I have that to look forward to.
Okay.
I am trying to manifest at least 2 murals for the summer. And then after I get those under my belt, I do want to do some murals in my city. Traveling, I definitely want to do like a mini tour this summer. So places I am probably going to be hitting is going to be Cali again. I've already been invited to Tattoo in Miami for Rolling Loud, and New York specifically in the country right now.
That's so exciting. Well, I can say I'm so proud of y'all. You have really brought this exhibit to life. I feel like y'all define symmetry because it's beautiful, everything that you've done. I want to ask the crowd if you all have any questions for Taz and for Dillan.
If you could, like, if people could have one line about you, if you can leave like one statement about your art that people get from it, what would it be?
Ladies first.
Okay.
No, I got you. You said so.
So when people think about like, damn, when I see Dillan art, I get right.
Male painting, like that's a stigma that you gotta break. Like you could be from the hood, right, and everybody doing this and that, and then you painting. It's like, So I think for me, mine is vulnerability because it's like when I'm performing, it's like it's really like loose and vulnerable, like it's intimate. So
I would say for me, in a sentence, Taz's art makes me feel. I like to express my emotion through like brush strokes, through different textures. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to speak up. So yeah, I like to express my art through different textures, different types of brush strokes. Like even with the pieces, masculinity and femininity back here, on top of the canvas is like a layer of plaster, where I created a lot of different waves. So over that is very intentional splashes of oil paint mixed with turpentine. The small splatters in the background kind of happened as I was pouring. That was very intentional. How I made the lines look was very intentional to evoke specific emotion. And that emotion for me will be different in everyone. But that's what I wanted to hit.
Anyone else? Any questions?
So both of you guys speak about wanting to do murals in the future. You know, as Black artists, we kind of have the burden of having to empower our community through our murals and public art. So what's one concept that you would both want to incorporate in some of your public art that will empower our community?
One thing, I know my first mural back at home that I want to do. I want to portray my family, my immediate family, which is like, my mom and stuff like that, and my uncles. I think they are big pillars in that community and to the hustling community. However you want to look at it, negative or positive, but I think those faces alone, or those portraits alone, will like give little Black kids hope to be. You can be whatever you want to be without having to do what they did, and it's like also it'll be a learning like experience for whoever's viewing it, like, because I think their name will live on forever. So like putting that in my community will like motivate the youth. It'll give the older people that experience that era the storytelling. It it leaves something behind. Like, so I think that's one idea that's the type of real estate of murals I want to start. Like, definitely in the community. And it doesn't. That's a personal one. I think another one would be just something that portrays like balance. Like, it doesn't always have to be about men and stuff like that. Like, so probably portraying like the strong like single mom or something, like just something dope that everybody relate to, especially like in the Black community of like being raised by your mom and stuff like that. Like, so creating some type of balance. Those are two things I definitely want to do.
For me, some topics that I want to cover or that I am covering also in my upcoming solo show would be breaking stereotypical beauty standards and what that means, what beauty means to each person. I also want to get into more subconscious like topics. Like, I'm uncovering like what's in my own subconscious. So I want to encourage other people to like dive into their shadows and like find what's in there and heal that, work through that and use that to empower yourself. I feel like what my art is doing for me and has done for me, and what I hope that does for other people, is uncovers the shadows and helps you to work better with that side of yourself. Because everyone has two sides, and you can't just use one. You have to like bring yourself together. So definitely topics about that. And I feel like overall, I want to encourage everyone to just be themselves and do whatever they want to do. I feel like that's what's going to bring everyone like ultimate happiness. People talk about things like world peace, but I feel like what it is people are just unhappy by living in like certain stereotypical like norms. Like, people feel like they have to live a certain way, they have to work a certain job in order to be successful, to make certain people proud. What it is to be proud, what makes you proud of yourself, things like that. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I got one more question.
Okay.
So as creatives, right, you kind of make your own prices and things like that. So when it comes to art, like, how do you determine your value, right? Because a lot of times people try to lowball you or shortchange you and things like that as an artist. So how do you determine like, nah, this is gonna be my price, or this is what my value is? Like, how do you all like determine that for yourself?
I think for me, I started off low, bro. Like, I was making really, really dope art, selling it for $40, and people in my neighborhood looking like, "That's it? Let me get another one." So I think it's like trial and error, establishing value as a creative. You know what I'm saying? I feel like rappers, when they first start off, you can't charge $10K for a verse, bro. Like, we don't know you. So it's like that in art. I feel like as I kept putting more years and work in, and even getting into like galleries and stuff, like getting my name out there more, and even selling work in the thousand range, like that kind of let me know, like, okay, I ain't going under this now. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when you're independent and you're freelancing, sometimes you got to work with that budget. You got to be like, oh, you only got 500. All right, like we just don't tell nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be stuff like that. So to further answer the question, I think with me selling work successfully my whole career, I think I use the prices that the most that I've made off one piece. Like I know what I'm capable of, so I use that like set prices, like a fixed price, and I go off of that. And then, like I said, it's a tight situation, and they might not have 1,000. We can talk about getting a smaller scale size or recreating that piece for a cheaper price. Like it's just working with your customer. And I think when you're in a gallery setting, it's good to have like an established like value as far as like you don't have to be the most expensive artist, like, but you should have at least a range of things like this is a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So that's kind of like my technique. And like I've sold works to successful people, and I didn't charge them more because they were successful. I just stuck to my guns. Like that's what it is. So that kind of gave me my foundation. This is where I'm at in price range, and it's just like wine, bro. Like it appreciates in time as your name get bigger. The work that you sold 10 years ago becomes more valuable than what you sold it for. So just stuff like that.
For me, I also started off like pretty cheap as far as like my tattoos. So when I first started tattooing, I was doing tattoos for tips, and that was like my only income. My first tip / tattoo for tip thing, I did a tattoo for a guy and his girlfriend, and they gave me $8 for both of them. Yeah.
That's a story to tell, though. But no, it's significant. It's a story to tell, though, because everybody got to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like, even, let's take it to a whole different culture, like barbershops. Remember when, like, lineups was $10, bro? Or, you get a haircut for $15. Nah, they whack. They want $200 for a haircut. You be like, yo, like, it take 30 minutes to do this. I just need a 3 back here. Like, and I think it's just important, especially as Black people, because we've been robbed of what we worth. You feel me? So I think, establishing your price is like something everybody should do, no matter what you do, and telling stories of where you came from to where you at now, that's your value right there. Like that's your testimony. So we laughed at the $8 thing, but it's like shit. Now she want 8,000, bro. Like that shit, her stock went up, bro. Like you can't,
That part. So I went from that working at a predominantly white shop. I was the youngest artist there. I was the only Black person there. I left there for obvious reasons. I mean, I can kind of already see where that was going. I was tattooing in a beauty bar for a little while. I was getting scammed. She wasn't paying the rent. We got put out right before Christmas in 2019 or so. I was going for my apartment. From my apartment, I already had a little notoriety under my name, like in my city. So my minimum, I was able to do $100 minimum in my apartment, got up to $250. My current minimum is $650 for any tattoo, 5 minutes to an hour and a half. How I price my paintings and my work is based off of how much work I've already done, So it's like, even though I am like right now in 2023, displaying more of my fine art pieces as far as like gallery style work, I'm not gonna price it any less because this is the first time you see my show. It's like I know what I'm worth, and also when you're delivering your price, whatever it may be, if you're known or not, you give it with confidence. If you don't give it with confidence, people aren't gonna be like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like don't even believe in their own price, so I'm gonna pay them that for it. Exactly. So it's definitely knowing your worth and standing by it. So yeah.
I think while we on this topic too, like having that record, like going back to the $8 thing. Me personally, I sold work from Hawaii. I sold stuff to like people I would never expected. People in LA buying it, and they spending like $3,000. So now I'm like, I'm going back to the hood. Like, give me $1,000. They like, out of here, bro. So it's just like like you said, confidence, and then everything ain't for everybody. Sometimes you got to sit those high ones. You got to sit them up in your room and be your own fan until like, oh, somebody with that paper gonna come through. Like, So it's just it's a roller coaster, man. I think too for the crowd, like if y'all don't know, like artists, we don't be having like health insurance and dental and all. Like we just straight hustlers. Like we don't really get no benefits from being an artist. So like when y'all do support us or when y'all do tell somebody that got that paper that's gonna spend it, that helps us so much to make more art because now we like, all right, it's working, you know. So that's why we was on that topic. I wanted to share that. You know, it came to mind.
I know you both like really harped on evoking emotion and that really being your value. I think that all of your art really evokes that emotion and it really is in the eye of the beholder. So I feel like y'all's value is there. I mean, I see it. I feel like we all see it. We wouldn't be here if we didn't see it. And I think we're really proud of you all. I want to say thank you to Emmanuel, Ron, and Judah for bringing us together. This has been amazing. This has been a great experience. I know that we started from the bottom and we're here, and it was beautiful last night. Today has been beautiful. Tomorrow is going to be beautiful. I don't know if there's anything else that you all want to talk about just for yourself or anything that you want people to know, but that's all we got, y'all. So is there anything else you all want to say?
Yeah. I just want to close out by saying thanks to everybody in the room for coming out. You know, like you said, thank Judah, Ron, Manuel, all those people that put it together. Thank you for Sovereign Sound Studios for being the space that we can exercise. And then everybody that's in the crowd, you see origami under the seats or randomly in the room, feel free to take it home or open it up now. These are things that I wrote over the like past 3 years, you know, just internalizing different things. These are some of the journals and exercise.
It's like Oprah.
Oprah, yeah, like Oprah, yeah. You get it. You get a boat. You get a boat.
Right.
You get a boat. No, so these are things that I internalized and wrote down over the years, and it's something that, like, it ties into the value. Like, okay, you might not have no paint, but now you got a piece for me. That's for me. So it's like it was a way to me of being vulnerable and being able to exercise symmetry through origami, folding paper, and also reflecting what was inside outwardly to the people. So that's from me to you. Like whatever y'all say, it's like a fortune cookie. So like you said, everything happened for a reason. Y'all got that one for a reason. If you got any questions about anything that's on the pieces on the wall or in the origami, just holler at me. And yeah, that's it for me.
For me, besides my solo show happening April 14th at Peter Street Station, I will also be in the City of Ink 16th anniversary show at Peter Street Station happening next Friday, February 24th, 7 p.m. until there will be over 150 artists displayed across 4 locations. We're shutting down the whole block. It's going to be a super amazing event. Definitely come out. That's it for me.
And I also want to say thank you to DB. You've really helped with everything as well. Yeah, y'all, this has been great. Also, please stay around to look at the art. This has been a beautiful exhibit. We'll be here tomorrow as well. It's been great. I want to say thank you as artists for being vulnerable and just being your true selves and bringing what you feel art is to you to life, because we all see this as beautiful. This has been a beautiful piece. And can we get a round of applause for the artists and everybody who has done everything here? Thank you all for coming. I'm Mikayla, and let's not forget about our other artist, Simone Taylor. She's from Denver, Colorado. She has done other art. You can see in the other room. She has The Shift. And then we have Matthew Moloney. He has print art over here. Everything. Please talk to the artists. Please reach out. We have their bios over here with how you can reach out to them. And we just appreciate you all for all coming out. And thank